welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie. I have a great show for you today. First topic we're going over is the Mets sweeping the Yankees in the Subway Series. After that, we'll be going over some Blue Jays trade rumors, the Twins calling up one of the top prospects in baseball, David Festa, the Guardians-Orioles series recap, and some pair of power rankings. Now, before we do all that, I'd like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers to ensure that your question does get read on the air. Please use the link, gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get into the show for today. All right, so the first segment, as I talked about, is going to be about the Mets and the Yankees. The Subway Series did end last night with the Mets sweeping the series 2-0 against the Yankees. I did want to talk about it, what's going on for both teams, what's going right for the Yankees, and what is going wrong. What is going right for the Mets, and what is going wrong for the Yankees. Things usually aren't going right for the Mets, so kind of preoccupied, pre-wired to not say that. So of course the Mets did end up winning the first game 9-7, and the next game they blew them out. I believe it was 12-2. So we're gonna go over those games and just what happened, and then talking about both these teams. So let's get into it. So in the first game of the series, scoring would open up in the bottom of the first with a Tyrone Taylor RBI single to make it 1-0. Alex Verdugo would throw out Pete Alonso at home, so only hold it at 1 to end the inning. Bottom of the second, Mark Vientos would hit his second home run in 2 at-bats, his 8th home run of the year to make it 2-0 Mets. He's having an amazing season, and against Garrett Cole it meant a lot more. Then Harrison Bader would follow that up with back-to-back home runs, his 5th home run of the year, 5th home run as a Met, and a nice revenge home run for him against his former team to make it 3-0. Vientos would then homer again in the 4th, his 3rd home run in 3 at-bats, his 2nd home run against Garrett Cole, 4-0 Mets. As he said in the postgame, it's one thing to hit 2 home runs, another thing to hit 2 home runs against a guy like Garrett Cole. So props to him for how well he's done this year and just really been one of the biggest parts of the Mets season. Brandon Nimmo hit his 12th home run of the year to make it 6-0, but the Yankees would slowly come back as Juan Soto would hit a home run in the top of the 5th to make it 6-1. The Mets would add on, making it 9-1 eventually, but an Aaron Judge double in the top of the 7th would make it 9-2. An Austin Wells RBI single would make it 9-3, and then an Aaron Judge grand slam in the 7th would make it 9-7 Mets. So Yankees would eventually come back a little bit, would squander any other opportunity to score, and the Mets would end up winning the game, though, 9-7. So a very impressive win here for the Mets, playing Garrett Cole, having the pitching disadvantage with Cole going against David Peterson. But even with a little bit of a rough outing from the bullpen, the Mets were able to get out of it, score a ton of runs against this great Yankees pitching staff. And, overall, just a great job for the Mets. The Yankees had Cole on the mound, who went 4 innings pitched, giving up 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 walks, no strikeouts, 4 home runs, 9 ERA right now in the season. Really rough start since coming off of the injured list. For the Mets, they had David Peterson, who was okay, 4 and 3rd inning pitched, giving up 3 hits, an earned run, 5 walks, and 8 strikeouts. So, as much as Peterson did give up not that many runs, he didn't grow deep into the game, which, is a problem for the Mets and has been all year. So, his comment is saying, you picked the Yankees to win the Subway Series on Tuesday. Your prediction didn't age too well. I did. I believe I picked this. I believe I picked them to split the series, but I did pick the Yankees to win one game. And hey, look, I'm a Mets fan, so I am more than happy to be wrong in this instance. I did think the Yankees would end up winning just because I thought Cole would have a great game, but of course, Cole did end up kind of not playing great. So good job for the Mets. Props to them. They've been playing great, and we'll get more into that for the rest of the segment. For the next, we had the Mets yesterday, for Wednesday, and this was just a blowout from the start. The Mets would just absolutely demolish the Yankees, winning 12-2. There's so many scoring opportunities the Mets had. I don't even want to go into it, but Aaron Judge had a 2-run homer in the top of the 6th. That was cool. That was the only way the Yankees got 2 runs, but 12-2 for Mets. Just an absolute scoring barrage, and would just embarrass the Yankees in Queens. So right now, it's going very interesting for these two teams. The Yankees started off the season the best team in the league, and the Mets started off very disappointing. Fans were already picking out what prospects they wanted for guys at the deadline, like Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, Pete Alonso. But, the Mets have done very great as of recently, and the Yankees not so much. They have not done as good recently. And, again, we know about the whole Mets thing with Grimace and all that. Yesterday, during the rain delay, some guy was dressed up as Grimace, and he was, doing some things. He was kind of hyping up the fans. He was hyping up the fans in the rain delay in the stadium. That was very cool. So just vibes are high right now if you're a Mets fan. Things are going great, and everything is clicking. Also, sorry, I cannot pronounce your name. Bifer, I think it is. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But he is saying, who is our Subway Series MVP? I vote Bader. I think Bader would be a good choice. He had a very good Subway Series, 2 home runs in 2 games, of course. I would probably go Bader. I would maybe go Vientos as well. Vientos, of course, had the 2 home runs against Cole, which really ignited the Mets offense. So I would go either, but I think really that's a good one. Vientos also had some great plays in the field. I think Lindor's also a good one. He led up the game and played very well overall, but there's a lot of choices, but I think either one, Bader or Vientos, I think would be pretty good. But yeah, right now, of course, the Mets are clicking, and just really everyone is playing up to form right now. If you look at this team, the starting rotation isn't great, but it's doing enough. You don't have guys going very deep into games, but you have a bullpen that is, even though it is not the greatest, you have a lot of pieces there. You have Adrian Hauser, who's become an elite bullpen arm that can go a long amount of time. Daniel Nunes has become a very big, important piece of this Mets bullpen. Reed Garrett's solid, even though he did give up that grand slam to Aaron Judge. So the bullpen has been able to hold on with the pitching staff, but really it's just been the offense. I mean, you, of course, have Francisco Alvarez, who's been a beast since coming back from the IL, has had an absolutely incredible season this year. Just his hitting stats are off the charts. Hasn't played that many games, but that's still good. I mean, right now, his 2024 season stats, he has 4 home runs, 19 RBIs, 904 OPS. Weighted runs created plus is great. So Alvarez has been everything the Mets have imagined this year when breaking out in his second full year. So that's been very exciting. And, you look at first base, Pete Alonso's doing great. Shortstop Lindor, since moving to the leadoff spot, has been one of the best players in baseball, I'd say. Mark Vientos has been a beast at third base. Third base has really been a black hole for the Mets since David Wright did end up retiring. So having a young guy like Vientos to be able to come in there and be as impressive as he has been just insane. And the thing with him is we always knew he could hit. It's just would the hitting translate to the MLB, and would his defense translate to the MLB? And right now, his defense has been incredible, making some great plays, making the easy plays really well as well, which is the big thing. Little grounders, running plays with your bare hand, things like that third baseman have to make. He's done that very well, so he's been a big piece of this Mets team. Again, Lindor, since moving to the leadoff spot, has been absolutely incredible. You also, of course, have in the outfield Brandon Nimmo, who's been great. Harrison Bader's been on a heater. JD Martinez has been one of the best hitters in all of baseball for the past month or so. So just really everything is clicking for the Mets right now, and it's just players playing up to potential. You see these guys like Bader, like Vientos, like Lindor, like Alonso, who haven't been playing great really for a good amount of time, but then finally are getting it going and are just this lineup depth is really lethal. There's really no easy out in this lineup right now, except for maybe right field with Tyrone Taylor, because Marte is going to be out for a little bit, and then second base with Jeff McNeil, who has just turned into a disaster since signing that contract extension a few years ago. So the 1 to 7 of this Mets lineup is genuinely elite with how they're playing right now. I mean, you have to start off with Lindor at leadoff spot, then you got to go through Nimmo, then you got to go through Martinez, then you got to go through Alonso. And you're like, okay, maybe it wears off a little bit. Nope, you got to go through then Francisco Alvarez, Mark Vientos, and then Harrison Bader has been doing very well. So there's a lot going right for this Mets team right now. The lineup depth is incredible. The pitching is going to improve once Christian Scott comes back from the minor leagues, once Kodai Senga comes back from being injured. So a lot is going right for the Mets right now. I think at this point it would be disrespectful to the team to say this is a fluke. I think at this point they are a very good team. They've shown it. They're very much in play for this wild card spot right now and have just done absolutely incredible. Again, the lineup depth is killer. Francisco Alvarez has proven to be just an incredible player. I mean, the Mets are some insane number. I think 22-8 when he's playing. So just overall, a fantastic run for the Mets right now. Sweeping this Yankees team, even while they are at home, is very, very impressive with how good they have done. So great time to be a Mets fan right now. They're doing very well. And yeah, if I'm a Mets fan, I'd be excited. After that, the Yankees, they are really struggling. They are not doing well. I think they're right now 3-9 in their last 12, so really, really rough right now. So, yeah, just if you're a Yankees fan, not great. I think right now their flaws are starting to show, which is really with their depth. I mean, you have J.D. Davis batting cleanup right now, which is just rough. Yes, there are a lot of injuries with Stanton and Dominguez, but at the same time, you're looking. And who are the real big guys in your lineup? You have Soto, you have Judge. That's kind of it. Catcher, Austin Wells, been okay, but nothing too fantastic. First base right now, Ben Rice, still a rookie, still developing. Same with J.D. Davis. Second base, Gleyber Torres has been horrible this year. Shortstop, Volpe has been solid, but not anything too great. I mean, he's been a good player, just hitting-wise, not anything like fantastic to write home about. Third base, Ito LeMahieu, not been great this year. Verdugo hasn't been that great for a while after starting off really hot. So right now, if you're a Yankees fan, your issues are starting to show. You still have a nice rotation, especially with Cole coming back, and I'm sure he'll be better in the future. But the lineup is an issue right now. You have Soto, you have Judge, that's great, but there needs to be some guys around them that can improve the depth, and that's just not happening right now for them. So definitely, again, the flaws for the Yankees team are starting to show a little bit. They're going to have to do some major improvements at the deadline, and I think they need some people. You need to have Austin Wells start hitting better. You need to have Gleyber show any inkling of him remembering how to hit a baseball. You need to improve at the corner spots. So it's a little rough right now. I think when you get Dominguez and Stanton back, it should be better. I think maybe you could flip Alex Verdugo for an infielder. That would be something interesting, I think. But overall, this Yankees team is still solid. Just their flaws are starting to show a little bit more than what we expected for the start of the year. So, yeah, that is it for this Yankees and Mets Subway Series. Mets are, very close in the wild card right now. Should be interesting to see. Only 1.5 out. Will be very, very interesting to see for the rest of the year. But that was our first segment here, talking about the Subway Series and the Mets sweep and the Yankees. We'll be moving into our second segment, which is going to be talking about the Blue Jays and some trade rumors involving them. There's been a good amount of things floating around recently with the Jays, including Vladimir Guerrero, some comments from him, and a Ken Rosenthal article. So I did want to talk about all this, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Moving into our second segment here, which is going to be talking about the Blue Jays and some trade rumors involving them. Now, before we do that, I'd like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link, gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get into the show again. So, we're talking about our second segment here, which is going to be about some Blue Jays rumors involving them. Before we do that, though, I'd like to answer another question from our comments. Keep them rolling. I love to answer them. It says, should the Mets trade Luisangel Acuna for Chris Bassitt? Now, Luisangel Acuna is one of the Mets' top prospects. And now, personally, as a Mets fan, I'm not very high on Acuna. I don't really think he has the hitting tool to last as a plus MLB player. But I also don't think if you're going to trade him, Chris Bassitt is the guy. Bassitt is okay, but nothing too fantastic. I mean, it'd be nice to bring him back to Queens. He had a great season here, but his contract's pretty large, and Acuna still has value around the league, and I think selling him for an older starting pitcher on a big contract would be underselling it a little bit. Again, I'm not too high on Acuna, but I'd at least like to see what happens in the MLB. At least give him some credit. I mean, I'm fine with trading him, but I just don't think for Bassitt is the right decision. But overall, now moving back to the Blue Jays. So there has been a lot of news around them for the past 24 hours or so. I'd say overall just a little, now for probably more than 24 hours actually, I'd say just for a little bit now. So first off, we had some Vladimir Guerrero Jr. comments from, I believe it was a few days ago. He was in an interview and they asked him, a long time ago, a few years ago, you said that if the one team you would never sign with is the New York Yankees, no matter what, you would retire before you sign with the Yankees. And they asked him, is that still true? And Guerrero responded, baseball is business. If someone trades for me, I will play for them and give them all I got, something around those lines. And that is a very interesting comment switch. Now, usually I wouldn't think much of that, but Guerrero's been involved in a lot of trade rumors recently. The Yankees need a first baseman, and it's kind of interesting to see him change paths on his comment right now, considering the situation the Blue Jays are in, where we know they're listening to some talks on Guerrero. We know there are some rumors about him. So, yeah, it is a very interesting situation here. Someone just, I believe, subscribed on Twitch, so thank you so much for that. Thank you. But it is very interesting that this is the time that Guerrero decided to walk back his comments about the Yankees, again, in the situation the Yankees are. So I did want to talk about that. And also then Ken Rosenthal had a big article today about the Toronto Blue Jays and just about them, about their franchise, why they have been so underwhelming this year, and I did want to talk about that as well. So yeah, first going to the Blue Jays right now, I mean, to say it's been an underwhelming season would probably be a little bit underselling right now what is going on with them. I mean, you look at the standings right now for the Blue Jays in the AL East, they are currently in last place by 3 games. I mean, you look at the wild card right now, they're not even close. They're 6.5 back. The only teams they're above are the Angels, A's, and White Sox. That's bad. Those teams are really, really bad. Those are the teams I always put at the bottom part of my power rankings. So definitely not fun right now if you're a Blue Jays fan. A lot of things not going right. And, he's Buffer, I believe your name is pronounced. You said in the comments, should they trade Chris Bassett? I think that's an interesting situation we have to think about. Are they going to start trading players? And right now, if I'm the Blue Jays, I've said this before in the show, I believe, but to take it further, I'm blowing this team up. To be perfectly frank with you, I think it's time for a change in Toronto. I don't think this core is winning anything. I think that it's time to either have a big retool and trade one of your big players like a Guerrero, or trade Guerrero and just blow everything up with it. Trade guys like Chris Bassett, like Jose Barrios, like Kevin Gausman, like Jordan Romano, Danny Jansen, Yusei Kikuchi, Yimi Garcia. These are just guys coming off the top of my head. Bo Bichette. So it is interesting to see what they are going to do. That is personally what I would do. But right now, it's not going right for the Blue Jays. I mean, you look at this team and you think, okay, well, what's going wrong? And really for me, I think it's just both the offense and the pitching. I mean, that sounds very general, but, your best hitter right now is Guerrero, of course, who's done great. But after that, there's really not much else that is standing out. George Springer's been a disaster. Bo Bichette's been a disaster. Dalton Varshaw's been fine. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's been fine. David Schneider's been good. Justin Turner's been fine. Danny Jansen's been fine. A lot of fine players. Just no one that is outstanding other than Guerrero. And I think when you're looking at this lineup, I think that you need another superstar. I would classify Guerrero as a superstar at this point with how well he's done. And, I think that was one of the big reasons why the Blue Jays tried so hard to get Ohtani and Soto in the offseason. We know very publicly about how they tried to get both of those players, and they were unsuccessful in getting both, obviously. And I think both would have been great fits in the way that the Blue Jays are right now missing a franchise star. Guerrero is great, but I don't think he's up to the level of a Soto or Ohtani, of course. And getting one of those guys would have added you a guy to build this team around, show people that you're serious and you're serious about winning. And I just think both would have been amazing fits right now. And not being able to get them, I think, really is affecting this team. I think there's a lot of mediocrity on this Blue Jays roster all about, and I think that's one of the big reasons why they are failing. I mean, just again, other than Guerrero, there's really no big bat. You were banking on Justin Turner, George Springer, Bo Bichette, guys like that to be better than they have been, and I think Bichette was a good one to bank on, but Springer, I don't think at this point in his career, I don't think Justin Turner was a good bet, and yeah, it's just not great right now if you are a Blue Jays fan and things are not going well. Overall, I think there are a few motives they could go here. One, go all in and trade for someone big like Elise Robert and kind of deny the fact that this core isn't going to win anything. That's one option. Another one is have a slight retool and gear up with prospects and money for the offseason. Trade guys like a Chris Bassett, a Kevin Gausman, a Jordan Romano, Yimi Garcia, Danny Jansen, Yusei Kikuchi, guys who are older on bigger contracts and aren't under long-term control really, and then build around your younger guys like a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Maybe even a Bo Bichette if you still believe in him. Not sure if you should, but I think that's really the options the Blue Jays have here. Or you can blow it up and trade all those guys I just said. Trade Guerrero, trade Bichette, try to offload Springer somehow, get what you can back for Justin Turner. And I think that's that's what I would do here. I just think, again, this organization and roster is just filled to the brim with mediocre players and players who aren't exactly guys that are going to be difference makers. I mean, I don't know if I trade Guerrero, but at the same time, again, I just don't like this team. I don't like how this roster is constructed, and overall, I think there's a ton of flaws here that the Blue Jays have not been recognizing these past few years. Now, specifically for Guerrero, again, it was interesting that he walked back those combats to the Yankees, and I want to talk about his trade rumors for a second. Again, the Blue Jays, if they trade him, they could get a ton back, a really good prospect haul. And if they don't trade him, yes, he's someone to build around. So either way, they have a big decision to make with him. I don't know if they're going to trade him at this deadline, trade him in the offseason. They'll figure it out. But you have 2.5 years left of control on Guerrero, either 2.5 or 1.5. And that's a good amount of time. That's if you're a team that needs a big power bat, a DH first baseman type, get Guerrero. I mean, offer a lot for him. Now, there's been a lot of teams mentioned with him. Of course, the Yankees we have to mention because of the comments he made and because they need a first baseman. To be perfectly honest, I don't think that there's any chance ever that Guerrero is getting traded to the Yankees, even with the Yankees having the prospects to get him, even with them being a great fit. I just don't think the Blue Jays would trade their best player to a division rival of the Yankees as well. This is not like the Mariners and Angels or something. No, this is the Yankees and Blue Jays. This is not something I think they're going to do. It's not smart for business. I don't think it's a great idea. But to be fair as well, I never thought Mikal Bridges would be traded from the Nets to the Knicks. So I don't know any more about rivalries, quote-unquote, in sports. So overall, it'll be very interesting to watch. But other than that, I think there are some other teams. The Astros have been brought up in recent days about him. I think that would make some sense if they want to get a power-hitting first baseman. Of course, just release Jose Abreu, so first base is definitely a need. Not exactly sure that they have the prospects to acquire that, and I think also they should be focusing more on pitching, but it's a fit. Also, the Mariners have been mentioned a lot. I think they're a perfect fit with Guerrero. If Guerrero or Luis Robert are very realistic for you, I think you have to get one. If I'm the Mariners, I'm going all in this year. I think they can really make a big push with the pitching they have, and the AL being kind of weak outside of the Orioles and the Yankees. Also, there are some other teams, of course, that I think would make a ton of sense for Guerrero. You can also talk about, the Cubs. They've been mentioned a lot with Guerrero in the past few years. They have the prospects to get it done. Power-hitting first baseman. He's been mentioned in the Cubs a lot, now I think about it, in the past few years. So I think that overall, Guerrero being traded would be an interesting thing to do for the Blue Jays. It would be an interesting way to conduct your franchise right now, and I would be very, very intrigued to see what they do next after that, see what prospects they can get. But if they don't trade him, I think a small reset could be good. Trading guys on 1 to 2 year contracts like Gausman, like Bassett, like Yusei Kikuchi, like Yimi Garcia, like Danny Jansen. Guys who are good but aren't long-term pieces. I think Gausman would be the biggest piece out of all that. I would usually mention George Springer, but I think no one is going to take that Springer contract right now. He's just turned into a disaster with them. I mean, I think the Mets and the Red Sox have to be thanking themselves that they did not sign that contract a few off seasons ago. So, yeah, overall, the Blue Jays are in for a very, very interesting next couple of months heading into the trade deadline on July 31st. I am very interested to see what is going to happen with this team and very excited to see what the future holds for them. I think there's a lot of decisions to be made up there in the 6th, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see what they do end up choosing and what direction they do go with this franchise. So, yeah, that is our second segment here, talking about the Blue Jays and some rumors involving them. We'll be moving into our third segment here, which is going to be talking about David Festa and the Twins calling him up, one of the top pitching prospects of baseball. So we'll be going over that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Oops, just realized I was doing that whole spiel with my mic off, so that's nice. So we're just going to ignore that and go into our third segment. That was fun. But yeah, we talking about David Festa and the Twins calling him up, one of the top right-handed pitching prospects in baseball. So yeah, before that, though, we do have another question from the comments. I love these questions, guys. Keep them rolling. Love to answer them. Love to talk baseball. He says, I cannot pronounce his name, but he says, the Pirates are winning the World Series. Crazier things have happened. I think the Pirates actually have a decent team for once. And hey, look, pitching matters in the playoffs, and the Tigers right now have a pretty, I said Tigers, the Pirates, that's what I meant, have a pretty elite top three of their pitching staff with Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, and Jerry Jones. So hey, I wouldn't want to face the Pirates in the playoffs, I'm just saying. You add a big bat to that lineup, I think they are definitely a team you could talk about in a contention status. Winning the World Series, maybe next year you'll be a championship contender, but a little too early, I'd say. But hey, things are going right if you're a Pirates fan right now. Things are going exciting, and I'd definitely be happy right now if I was a Pirates fan with the future of my team. So yeah, going into the third segment here, we have the Twins. They did call up one of their top prospects one of the top prospects in baseball, David Festa. So yeah, Festa is number 99 according to MLB Pipeline. He is, again, one of the top right-handed pitching prospects in baseball, 24 years old. Looking at his scouting grades, he does have a 60-grade fastball, 55-grade slider, curveball of 45, changeup of 55, and control of 50. So, pretty good fastball pitcher, fastball-slider combo, really. Changeup is also pretty nice. So, nice three-picks Mitch here for a guy who you would like to be a starting pitcher long-term for this team. So, yeah, I think he's going to add a lot to this Twins team. And, right now the Twins have a good core. And I think adding one of these younger pitchers to that is something that is very exciting. So, again, looking at him right now, he's 6'6", which is obviously a very intimidating presence for someone on the mound. Again, 3 above-average pitches in his arsenal, which is a big deal right now for the team. Again, someone else subscribed on Twitch, so thank you so much for that. I can't read your name, but I appreciate it. Again, his fastball has sat nearly, his fastball can reach anywhere from 95 to 98. So that's another good pitch he has. So another plus pitch there, again, slider, changeup. So I project this guy really as a plus starting pitcher in the major leagues. I think that overall he does a lot well, and overall is a very exciting pitcher. I think that he's going to be a big part of this Twins team. Sorry, just give me a second. Sorry about that. I had to handle something there. But going back to Festa, I think this guy is going to be a plus pitcher in the major leagues. I think that overall he has a skill set that really is going to translate well. And with this Twins team that has a lot of good young pitchers, I really do think he fits in well and fits in with this core of young players. So I think that the Twins calling up Festa was the right move. He is pitching currently as well, so if anything notable happens there, I'll give an update on that. But yeah, I think that the Twins right now have a good young core, and adding to it with one of these guys is very exciting. I mean, you look, they have five top prospects in the top 100: Walter Jenkins, Brooks Lee, Emmanuel Rodriguez, Gabriel Gonzalez. I mean, Walter Jenkins, they got lucky with the draft last year and did end up drafting him top 5. You also have Brooks Lee, another top prospect for them. After that, Gabriel Gonzalez, a guy they acquired from a trade with Seattle in the offseason for Ray Polanco. So, a really nice young core is building here with the Twins. And, you also have some nice veterans like a Byron Buxton, like a Carlos Correa, of course, who are great. And, starting pitchers as well. Pablo Lopez has become an ace of this Twins staff since being traded there from Miami. So, overall, if I'm a Twins fan, I'm very excited with what's going on right now. And I think that there's a lot going right for this team and a lot to like. I mean, you look at Festa's stats in the minor leagues. He had 14 games started in St. Paul, which is the AAA affiliate, 3.77 ERA, 59 innings pitched, struck out 87 guys, only walked 24. Opponent's average are 241. So a lot to like here. And again, his fastball is very nice. His slide is really nice. Changeup's really nice. So a lot to like here if you are a Twins fan with Festa. I think will add a big part to this Twins core and this Twins team. Now, looking at this Twins team this year, there is a lot to like. I mean, you look at them currently where they are in the landscape of the AL Central. You see that currently they are second place, one game above the Royals. Started off the season very poorly, so the way that they were able to get back into contention, and the way we expected them to be, was a very, very good job by them, and just overall was a very exciting time for their fans. The Royals are a great team, so it's going to be a fight all year with them. I don't imagine them coming close to the Guardians at this point. Guardians don't seem to be slowing down. 8 games above the AL Central at this point. But the Twins are very much in the wild card right now. Seconds, they currently have the second spot available right behind the Orioles. So, yeah, if you're a Twins fan, you're very excited about what is happening with this team currently. And adding another one of these young players is very exciting and should be something that really does help out this core in the future. I think it's going to be a really tough year so far with this AL. I mean, you look right now, they have to overcome a lot of teams to win this AL wildcard spot. The resurgent Astros, who have done very well recently, the Royals, of course, the Red Sox, the Orioles, and the Royals. So there's going to be there's going to be a big fight overall for the rest of the year, for both leagues, really, for the wildcard spots. Since adding in that 6th spot, it has been something that is very consequential for the rest of the league. So be very interesting to see what the Twins do end up doing and what does end up happening with them for the rest of the year. It should be very, very interesting. And I think adding Fest to this rotation is very solid. You did just place Chris Paddock on the IL, so it is nice to add another young pitcher in for one of the young pitchers who is hurt. So, yeah, right now, if I'm a Twins fan, I'm feeling very, very good about not just my pitching staff this year, but again, the pitching staff for the future. And adding in a guy like Festa is very exciting and something that really does inspire a lot of hope with you guys. I mean, again, you look at the young core you had building: Pablo Lopez, Chris Paddock, Bailey Ober, Louis Varland, Simeon Woods Richardson. A lot to like here, and just adding in a prospect of the caliber of Festa adds in a ton here. And again, I think this Twins team is really good. I do think they need to add something at the deadline, maybe a corner outfielder, a bigger batter. But again, I love the pitching staff. I love the young core they have building here, and I think there's a lot to like if you are a fan of this team. And also, I think Festa is going to be an impact starter right away. Again, he's currently playing, so we should be able to check on that here. He is playing the Diamondbacks currently, and he has given up no runs yet, and the Twins are up 5-0 on Arizona. Another rough start for Jordan Montgomery, so that's at least good for him. Get a little bit of a cushion. 1 inning pitch, no stat line so far. So, yeah, very exciting time if you're a Twins fan. A lot of things to like here, and yeah, if I'm a Twins fan, I'd be very excited with what is going on right now and what the future does look like for my team. And yeah, I think it's a very exciting time to be a fan of this team. AL Central is going to be a dogfight, so it will be interesting to see what the Twins do end up placing. But I think that overall, they're going to be in the thick of it. I still think that the Twins are one of the better teams in the league. I had them as the best team in the AL Central at the start of the year. The Guardians obviously are much better going into this year. Did not expect that, but still have done fantastic. And yeah, Kelsey says she bets the Twins will win today. They're up 5-0 currently, so I would agree with that. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Twins' future does hold and what does happen with this team. So yeah, we'll be moving into our 4th segment here, which is going to be talking about the Cleveland Guardians, their Twins rivals, and their series versus the Baltimore Orioles, and what did happen there, and the consequences that it will have on the American League. So yeah, we'll be going over that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
We are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth segment, which is going to be talking about the Guardians and the Orioles, a little bit of a series recap. I did want to talk about this series as it was two of the best teams in the American League going head-to-head, and I thought it was very, was going to bring a lot of consequences to the American League and just would add a lot of things to it. So I did think this series was important to talk about, and let's get into it. So first game of the series was on Monday. Guardians and Orioles would face off. Guardians would be looking for another win. Top first, Jose Ramirez would end up hitting an RBI single to make it 1-0 Cleveland. Started scoring off early. Bottom of the first, though, Ryan O'Hearn would end up tying it up with an RBI single to make it 1-1. A Bo Naylor double in the top of the second for the Guardians would end up making it 2-1. And Anthony Santander sacrifice fly would make it 2-2. So very exciting game so far. Top of the sixth, Jose Ramirez with his 20th home run of the year. Incredible to make it 3-2 Cleveland, and that would be it for the game. The Orioles would squander any other opportunity to score, and they would end up winning this game. The Guardians had on the mound Tanner Bybee, who went 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 3.50 ERA. Very, very solid start for him against an offense like the Orioles. I mean, it's very exciting if you're a Guardians fan. Bybee has been one of your biggest breakout candidates for your team these past 2 years, and having a start like this against a team like the Orioles is very exciting, and just is a great job right here for the Guardians. For the Orioles, they had on the mound Cade Povich, the rookie they just called up, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk, 5 strikeouts, and a homer, 4.15 ERA. So not a great start there, but against the Orioles team, against an offense like the Guardians, it's pretty solid. Kelsey asked what my name is. My name is Sam. I say it at the start of every episode, so don't worry, it's out there. But yeah. For the next game we have on Tuesday, we have the Guardians and Orioles again. A much more high-scoring game. Top of the first, we have David Fry hitting an RBI double to make it 1-0. His 11th of the year. Man, he's been great against lefties. Just such an important addition to this Guardians team. Such a big reason why they have done so well. So he would make it 1-0. Bottom of the first, Gunnar Henderson would hit a 2-run home run, his 25th of the year to score Ryan Mountcastle to make it 2-1 Baltimore. I mean, just an absolute monster season Gunnar is having. He might hit 50 home runs this year as the second year, as a shortstop as well. Just Gunnar Henderson, what a player. So really nice job by the Orioles to get back out in front there. Gabriel Arias would end up giving the lead to the Guardians right back with a RBI double to make it 3-2, scoring Jonathan Rodriguez. Bottom of the second, James McCann would tie up the game to make it 3-3 Baltimore. Been a very good addition since coming over to Baltimore as a backup catcher. Very solid addition for the Orioles there with McCann. Bottom of the third, Jordan Westerberg would hit an RBI double, his 16th of the year to make it 4-3 Baltimore, and he would end up giving the Orioles the lead there. Brian Roquico would end up tying the game for Cleveland, making it 4-4. And a Stephen Kwan single and then a Jose Ramirez 3-run home run would make it 8-4 Cleveland, in a huge inning for them, taking the huge lead in this game. But the Orioles would continue to fight back with a James McCann solo home run to make it 8-5. A Colton Cowser back-to-back shot would make it 8-6, so the Orioles would not be done yet. I mean, this offense never quits and is always so explosive. Bottom of the seventh, a weird play here where James McCann would ground out, but it would score Gunnar Henderson to make it 8-7, so they would be within 1. And then a Bo Naylor RBI triple would make it 9-7, and a Gabriel Arias RBI single would make it 10-7, and that would end up being the icing on the cake for the Guardians, 10-7. The Orioles would end up getting a solo home run in the bottom of the 8th to make it 10-8, but the Guardians would end up winning. The Guardians would end up winning the game still 10-8. So a very nice win here for Cleveland. The offense was absolutely explosive. A great job all game by them. They had on the mound Logan Allen, who was pretty bad. 3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 5.72 ERA. Really not a good start for him versus the Orioles. Not great so far. But you look at the Guardians and you really think these past few years, you think about pitching, but all the pitching is really gone or injured right now. So right now their offense is really carrying them, and I would say they need to add a pitcher, which is a very stark contrast from where their teams have been in the past few years. So definitely something they need to add. You can't have guys like Logan Allen starting. Kelsey asks again, do you have a World Series prediction Do I have a World Series prediction? I do. Right now, I would probably say Phillies Orioles. I think that is the pretty easy one right there. I mean, two of the better teams of both leagues, but I think the Orioles are fantastic, and their young offense is going to propel them there. And I think the Phillies pitching depth is just unmatched, and yeah, it would be a very, very exciting World Series, I'd say, as well. Two teams within a very close vicinity of each other in Baltimore and Philly, so that would be exciting. But going back to this now, the Orioles did have on the mound Cole Irvin, who also was not good. 4 innings pitched, 10 hits, 8 runs, 4 earned. So, big kind of, not a horrible start for him, I'd say. Got pretty unlucky, I'd say. And then finally on Wednesday, we would have the Guardians and the Orioles as, again, the last game of the series. Now, the Guardians would get a big boost in this game, as they would call up one of their top prospect, I'm going to butcher this name, I do apologize, Johanski Noel. He is a big power-hitting first baseman, did slot into the Guardians lineup last game at first base, so he's going to be a big addition for them. Once him and Kyle Manzardo come up, I think this offense should be even more fantastic. So that is a great addition to this Guardians offense. He would hit his first MLB home run in the top of the second in his first at-bat to make a 1-0 Cleveland, so that will be a very exciting moment to him. Congrats. I think he's going to be a big-time player for the Guardians in the future. Gunnar Henderson would tie up the game, though, in the bottom of the second, hitting an RBI single to make it a 1-1. A Gabriel Arias solo home run to make it 2-1, but a Gunnar Henderson home run would make it 2-2. 26th of the year. Man, this guy's just so incredible. A Cedric Mullins solo home run would make it 3-2, and a Kyle Ahern solo home run to make it 4-2. So home run barrage here by Baltimore, and they would end up winning this game 4-2. So they would snap the Guardians' 7-game winning streak, would snap their own losing streak, and would get back on track. They did have on the mound Grayson Rodriguez, who again was fantastic. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Just a fantastic pitcher this year for the Orioles. One of the biggest reasons why they have done as well as they have. Just been such a fantastic player for them. The Guardians had on the mound Carlos Carrasco, who actually had a pretty decent start. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Has not been great as a depth starter this year, but had a very solid start here against this Orioles team. So props to him. And good start. Kelsey says she thinks Dodgers and Orioles for World Series. That's also fine. I think the Dodgers' pitching injuries are going to come back to hurt them at some point. But at the same time, they're still an amazing team, have so much talent. I really would not doubt the Dodgers making the World Series any year. So, I definitely think that's very reasonable. So now, this series was important to me as it was the Guardians and the Orioles, 2 of the best teams in the AL this year. I would think a lot of people would argue right now, the 2 best teams in the AL this year, right now at least, with how the Yankees have been performing as of lately. So, right now, if this series was very exciting, if you're a Guardians fan, you have to be thrilled with the way that they were able to take it. Even in the game they lost, they were still in it. I mean, they only lost by 2 and had a good offensive performance there. So both these teams are going to be very interesting to watch for the rest of the year. I mean, the Guardians have a ton of talent on offense, but do need to add some pitching, and I would say the same with the Orioles as well. Both teams have had some pitching injuries. Both teams don't really have, again, that many great pitchers. Betts and Yamamoto do need to come back. I agree. That would obviously be big additions back for the Dodgers. So if you're a Dodgers fan, I'm hoping they do come back eventually. But big series for the Guardians here. Ended up winning this. And if you are a Guardians fan, I think you have to be very excited with how they played, having this big test against another elite AL team. And the Orioles, they're struggling a little bit right now. I think this is the first time all year they've really had some genuine adversity. And they still have a great team. They still aren't exactly bad, but you do have to find out what's not clicking right now, and definitely need to improve a little bit more. So if you are an Orioles fan, you do need to improve. Your team does need to improve a little bit more, and kind of need to find your way back to the elite status you were at the start of the year. So it should be interesting to see where these 2 teams do end up placing the rest of the year. Orioles, of course, are in a battle with the Yankees for the top of the AL East. Guardians, not really. There's no really other team at the AL Central that is going to compete with them right now. Twins and Royals are absolutely fantastic teams. I've said that multiple times in my show, but I just don't think that either is on the level of the Guardians right now with how good their offense has been. So, right now, if you're a Guardians fan, you're very excited with how that series progressed, what's going on with your team right now, and just, you're doing this all with not really that many great pitchers, which is very exciting. I mean, you signed Matthew Boyd today to a major league contract, but that should just be more of a depth move, maybe out of the bullpen as a spot starter. But overall, very exciting time for the Guardians. Very exciting series overall for the AL. It was a great job, for both these teams, and it was very exciting to watch and very exciting to cover. So it was a great series here. So that was our fourth segment here, talking about the Guardians and the Orioles series. We're moving into our fifth and final segment here, which is going to be talking about the MLB hitter power rankings from MLB.com. I did want to just touch upon them and talk about them and give my thoughts. So we'll be talking about that, and we'll see you after the fourth and final break. So thanks, and bye. And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fifth and final segment, which is going to be talking about the hitter power rankings from MLB that were announced. Ooh, sorry if you heard that. That was my cord. My computer. Just going to fix that a little bit. But, so these MLB does this every week. Whenever I get a chance, I like to talk about them, just give my thoughts on it. And, just give my thoughts in the order as well. So let's get into it. So, of course, number one here they have from the New York Yankees, Aaron Judge. I mean, what is there to say about Judge that hasn't been said already? I think this is the best pick. I mean, it's Aaron Judge. He's done so fantastic this year. Just is on pace for all kinds of records. Has some insane hitting stats since he got back from that cold slump, and is on pace to set more records, and is one of the biggest reasons why the Yankees have done as well as they have this year. Of course, I did talk about them. Before as having a little bit of a rough slide right now, but at the same time, they're still fantastic. They're still one of the best teams in the league. So really, nothing to be overly worried about again for the future. So, I think Judge here at number one is the perfect fit. I mean, it's Aaron Judge. Again, what is there to say about Judge that hasn't been said? He's so fantastic. Again, I've said this before on the show, but that's a guy I'll be telling 3 generations from now that I got to see him play live. So just a fantastic player. One of the faces of our league, and definitely deserves to be number one here. Number 2, we have from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani. No surprises here. Again, Ohtani is fantastic. I think him with the number 2, 3, and 4 hitters could be debated where he places above them, but I think 1 is definitely right, and the 2 to 3 to 4 are definitely in the right positions, but could be reordered a little bit different. But after I say number 4, I'll say what I would probably do. But Ohtani's having an amazing season. Again, been everything the Dodgers have wanted and more. Just had such a fantastic season, and just been an amazing player for this Dodgers team, and just been absolutely fantastic. Deserves this placement here at number 2, and one of the biggest reasons why the Dodgers have done so good this year. Of course, have a lot of injuries now with Ohtani, with Betts and Yamamoto being out. So Ohtani's really going to have to carry the offense right now with Betts being out. But I have no doubt that he will. And again, fantastic player. And number 2 here is well deserved. Number 3 we have from the Baltimore Orioles, a man I was talking about before, Gunnar Henderson. Again, Gunnar Henderson has just been so fantastic this year. Coming up last year as one of the top prospects in baseball for a few years, we expected him to be great, and that's exactly what he was last year, being very much involved in the AL Rookie of the Year race. But this year, he's broken out to a whole new level. No sophomore slump for him. Has almost 30 home runs. It's going to hit 30 home runs before the All-Star break, which is just absolutely incredible. A huge lefty power-hitting shortstop. One of the biggest reasons why the Orioles have been as good as they have been this year is going to be one of the biggest reasons why the Orioles are going to continue to be good for the future. So young, so fantastic. I mean, just such an amazing, amazing player. So good. I mean, Gunnar Henderson just such a great power hitter. I really didn't expect this much power from him. I really thought he'd be a guy that was more batting average on base than home runs and power, but he's proven me wrong. Been fantastic as a shortstop. There's so many fantastic shortstops in the league right now, with him, Bobby Witt Jr., Corey Seager, Francisco Lindor, Mookie Betts. I mean, those 5 already are just elite. I'm sure there's more I'm forgetting as well. So, just fantastic season for Gunnar Henderson. Been such a big part of this Orioles team, and yeah, been so great. At 4th, we have the second New York Yankee, Juan Soto. Soto, of course, has to be on this list, is having an amazing season with the Yankees. Been exactly what the Yankees expected him to be when they did acquire him. I mean, it's just so fantastic. The way he hits is just so beautiful. Such an amazing generational type player. Of course, has to be number 4 on this list. I think is such an amazing, amazing player, and I think him on this list makes a ton of sense, and is the right decision here for this Yankees team. I think that he is such a good hitter, and very fitting here. Now, this 2 to 4, I might have a little different. Personally, I probably have Soto over Gunnar, but I think that overall the top 4 is fine, and I think it's the right order. And I don't see anything too wrong with the rest of the top 10, which we'll be talking about, of course, except for one little thing, which I will go over. But yeah, number 5 here for the Philadelphia Phillies, we have Bryce Harper. I talked about Harper on my show yesterday as well with my All-Star ballot. Has been fantastic this year. Has made that transition to first base so seamlessly. Has been a huge hitter for this Phillies team this year. Been one of the biggest reasons why they have been as good as they have been. I mean, again, it's Bryce Harper. We all know this. We all know how good he is. So, no real surprise to say that he has been as fantastic as he has been. So, yeah, do have him at number 5 here. I think this is a fine placement. Maybe would have Steven Kwan over him, who is next, of course, but I think Harper here is fine. He's having an amazing, amazing season, and it's been incredible with the bat, of course. Number 6, as I said before, is from the Cleveland Guardians, Steven Kwan. Did a whole segment on Kwan this week, and yeah, he's just fantastic. He's hitting almost 400 right now. It's just unheard of in today's game. So, yeah, he's just having an incredible, incredible season. Kwan has been fantastic. Just one of the biggest reasons why the Guardians have been as good as they have been this year, leading off the game so well for them. Really has just broken out of nowhere. Was really just very mediocre last year, and the fact that he has done as well as he has this year has been a surprise, but I'm sure a welcome one for Guardians fans. Has been so great, and just such a big part of the team this year for them. Number 7, we have from the Atlanta Braves, Marcell Ozuna. Yeah, perfectly fair placement here. I think Ozuna definitely deserves to be on this list. I mean, has been such an important part of this Braves team this year. When you've had, some of your stars go down like Spencer Strider, Marcell Ozuna, Spencer Strider and Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozuna's been there to lift up this offense, been the biggest part of it, and really has become an MVP candidate for this National League. Has become such a fantastic player this year. I mean, the Braves were looking to offload his contract last deadline for Patrick Corbin. That's how far his value had fallen, but he's really turned it around, become such a fantastic player and hitter for this Braves team. Has become one of the best DHs in all of baseball, and been a huge part of this Braves team is why they haven't really just gone fully under since the Acuna injury. Number 8 from the Cleveland Guardians, again, Jose Ramirez. Guardians and the Yankees, the only 2 teams with 2 players on this list, which is very interesting. But yeah, Ramirez, 8, great pick. Ramirez has been fantastic this year, always is. I think 8 is pretty much a very fair assessment of where his hitting abilities lie right now. So I think 8 overall is very fair for Jose Ramirez. And yeah, I think he deserves to be on this list. Number 9, Yordan Alvarez. Again, very fair. One of the best DHs in Major League Baseball, has been for a long time, is having another fantastic year this year. With the Astros doing much better recently, I think having an Astro here like Alvarez is very fitting and is a very good decision. Having Alvarez at number 9 is, again, a good decision. Is very fair, and I think is a good placement here as an for Astros fans. So I think I think Alvarez here at number 9 is a good decision. Number 10 on this list from the Minnesota Twins, Royce Lewis. I've had a whole segment on Lewis as well. A fantastic season this year. Hasn't played in that many games, but when he has played, boy, has he been a monster. Just absolutely fantastic this year with the bat. Just become such a huge part of this young Twins core. And yeah, it just has been so fantastic this year for them. Has been so incredible, and overall has been an amazing player for this Twins team. Again, hasn't played in that many games compared to the other guys, but I find it fine that he's on this list. I would probably have JD Martinez on this list as well. He's been hitting great, and is one of the biggest reasons why the Mets have turned their season around. So I'd probably find him somewhere on this list, maybe above Royce Lewis. But all these players on here deserve to be here. I don't really see anyone that doesn't. So I think overall it's fine, and I think that these players are very good fits to be here with the hitter power rankings with how well they have performed this year. So yeah, that is the show for today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, to the notification bell. Now I get notified when I upload, when all the other great content creators on this channel do. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. I'm your host, Sam Menzie. It's a beautiful day outside. Enjoy it. And we'll see if baseball throws at us tomorrow. Thanks, guys, and bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.